Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of Umbreon Valley by Gamer Designs. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, 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 how are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to go on a map tour of Umbreon Valley by Gamer Designs. Ooh, I tell you what, pretty darn slick. Let's get up out of here. Ooh. Ah, man, I got out the wrong way. There's nothing like going on a little boat ride before we go on a map tour. Oh, you betcha, you betcha. Now, this map here is 128.35 megabytes to download and is very cross-platform friendly. Ooh, alrighty then. Oh man, before we get too much farther into things, one thing I like to let people know is that I have started this off on new farmer mode. That way you know exactly what you're going to be getting yourself into if you do start off on new farmer mode. But before we jump into that, let's go ahead and read what the map maker has to say. Welcome to Umbreon Valley. This forestry map is based in a fictional world. You can sell all of your products in the same place. Sawmill production, floating logs, 20 collectibles to collect, even make a few fields to farm on. I hope you all enjoy. Now that does sound like an awful lot of fun. Ooh, you betcha. Now when you start off on new farmer mode, you do start off with $100,000. I have a little extra cash, a little less than that right now because I bought this truck so we can wander around. Farm manager mode, you start off on 1.5 million and start from scratch. You do start off with $500,000. Alright, so like I said, we are starting off on new farmer mode. So at this point, let's take a look at what machinery you will be starting off with. Alright, now this is the machinery that you do start off with. Like I said, this vehicle you do not start off with. That's something that I just bought so we could drive around on the map. But what you do start off is you do start off with one Superliner 6x4 Mack truck. Ooh, that'll do a lot of work for you. Forestry Machinery, we start off with the routine tree harvester, and then we also start off with one of those fancy-dancy tree transporters. Pick stuff up off and throw it onto the back of that guy. And you do start off with one Forestry Fiegel timber runner. Not too shabby. Nice little setup for what you got to do for doing some forestry. Now let's take a look at the map and see what you'd start off with on new farmer mode. And here you go. This is the map that you do start off with right here. As you can see, there are a handful of sell points over here. A lot of wood selling plants. Odd for a forestry map. You do have yourself a gas station. There is one carpentry location on here. And you have a wood shop. Now this right here, this is a sell all point. Everything that you have on this map, silage, your normal grains, hay, things like that, this is where you can go ahead and sell them. You do have one sawmill where you have, you know, kind of halfway production stuff going on right here. So that's what you got over here. And then you do have one wood selling point up here. Now, when you go ahead and take a look at this, this is what you start off with. You have this plot up here, which is kind of like all the other miscellaneous bits and pieces that you have on here, along with your starting farm location, if you want to call it starting farm location. As for plots of land where you can start harvesting, this is the only one you do start off with. So it's only $91,000, not too shabby. Now, what do you got for price-wise on here? This little chunk right here is $51,000. This is the cheapest plot on the map. And if you kind of look around if you kind of look around this right here, you do have a couple other smaller plots. Oh, I do apologize. $29,000. I am wrong. $29,000 is your cheapest plot right here. You do have some smaller size plots, but then as you kind of come around here, you do see there are some larger ones, and this guy right up here is the most expensive at $1 million. So quite a bit of stuff in here. As you do, you see there is one field right over here. This is just this guy right here. Now, one thing that does end up happening, if you try and enter this field, you freeze. You completely freeze where you're at. In order to go ahead and do anything on this field, even walk onto it, you have to purchase this plot of land. We'll go over there and possibly take a look at it if we have an opportunity to. But like I said, if you want to get on this thing, you need to purchase this plot of land, and then you can physically enter the land. You will see this little location right over here. This location is a nice little island. There's no way to get to it. There's no bridge. There's nothing. You can't get over there. So if you want to buy this chunk of land, I did a little bit of experimenting. What you have to do in order to get stuff over here, you have to purchase this for $84,000, $85,000. You have to purchase the waterway, which is $1.3 million. And then you need to purchase one of these chunks of land along the edge in order to use terraforming to build a land bridge over there. For $84,000, $85,000, not worth it. It just is not worth it. So kind of keep that in mind. Yes, it looks really cool over on this island, but to get there, it's very, very hard. So now at this point, guys, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to wander around on the map. We'll go ahead and take a little look in driving around, and then after that, we'll fly up into the sky and take a nice aerial look. All right, everybody, here we are. One thing that I have done here is I have put the map up in the corner just so that you guys can go ahead and follow along with what I am doing in case you want to see where a particular location is. Now, as we go ahead and travel, we'll kind of go back towards the starter farm area or starting location, whatever you want to call it. What we will end up doing is along the way, there is an animal dealer that is over here that does not show on the map at all. Not sure why that is the case, but that is the case. It just doesn't show up on the map. I have tried it out. You can use it. It does not matter if you own that plot of land or not. It's just one of those things. It's not on the map, so I'm letting you guys know about it. Now, one thing you have to kind of keep your eye open on. I'm not going super fast along here. So here is where that location is right here for the animal dealer. I'm going to go ahead and blow this up so you can kind of see where it's at. That is where the animal dealer is located. It is not on the map, just as a reminder, but it is there for you to go ahead and look at. So let's continue on down the way here, and we'll go back to the starting farm location. As you guys can kind of see as I'm driving along here, I'm not going very fast because this road is very, very bumpy, very, very uneven. Kind of like what you would expect on a old logging path that's out there. It's just what the reality of the situation is. So now we do come up on this nice little plot, or not plot, but this nice road heading back to where our starting location is. And here you go. Not too shabby at all. It's a nice little spot to go ahead and start off with. You do have a repair shed over there to go ahead and look at. There is ample amount of storage on here, so you got that going for you. And if you do purchase anything, this is where the stuff purchases. This is also the spawn location for if you need to reset anything. So that's what's going on right over here. Now, one of the things I do want to point out here, if you do come into the purchasing, you go into your construction, the only thing that I found that is unique to this, if you're in the shed category, okay, you're in the shed category, you come down to the end, you see these blank squares. These are actually sell locations, right here. Sell locations, they're for wood selling. So if you're out and about in the middle of nowhere, if you own the land, you can go ahead and purchase this. It's not letting me do this because I don't have the cash to go ahead and do this, but that's one thing to kind of keep your eyes open for. So keep that in mind if you're out in the middle of the woods and you want to create that setup where maybe you have like this guy out there and then a wood sell place in front of it. By all means, go for it. I think that's kind of what that's set up for, instead of having to trek everything back into town. But again, looking at the map, there are several locations where you can actually go ahead and maneuver yourself around to sell at different locations. Now at this point here, guys, we're gonna go ahead, hop back in the truck, get ourselves rocking and rolling, kind of around here. There's a couple spots I want to go ahead and take a peek at before we fly up into the sky. But first, I kind of want to take you on a slightly more back. Oh my gosh, you see that? Oh boy, goodness. Pretty intense. Pretty intense these back roads actually are. So you want to, like I said before, you want to keep that in mind. Now, as you can kind of look off to the side here, you do have some forestry areas that are pretty darn level. As you get farther along, deeper into the woods, that's not the case. There's a lot of elevation changes. Some of the locations I actually don't really even know how you're physically going to get back to harvest the trees unless you spend millions and millions of dollars in terraforming. Like I said, I just don't understand how you physically get back there. So that's kind of cool because it does present a very unique challenge for what you want to do. Now, as you can see right here, there is a nice little lay down yard up over here, and it's kind of a neat location. Mainly because of this really steep drop off. I like this. When you're coming down here, you got a full load. You're gonna have to ride that brake pretty much the whole way down the hill, unless you wanna end up down there. I can almost guarantee that I would end up down there and end up losing an entire load of logs because I have just careened off the edge. But oh my gosh, it's pretty jazzy stuff right there. And as we come down up over here, I want to get you over across the river. There we go. Got nice little rapids right there, pretty slick. This is one of those points on the map that is more or less an pinch point. This is really going to restrict your travel coming across here, mainly because you have this bridge, and that's just about it. It's kind of hard to get across with machinery coming through here. So let's continue on the actual nice road, and I think right about here, yeah, right about here. Well, let's turn that off. We're gonna come down here and take a look at this because this area on the map, this is all a very waterlogged, marshy, swampy area where you can go ahead and harvest trees. It's pretty neat. I like this. This is definitely a neat little setup where you have these nice little waterways for going ahead and doing your harvesting. It's pretty darn slick. I do like this. I think one of the things that we're going to do right now, guys, is we are going to go ahead and give me just 1 second. I'm going to put the Mary Poppins hat on. We're going to fly up into the sky. We're going to get to some different locations a little bit easier and really be able to get a nice aerial view and see what's going on. Alright guys, so here we are. Normally when I go ahead and do this, I like to turn off our heads-up display in the map, but considering we're going to be doing a little bit more exploring, I'm going to leave that on as we fly up into the sky. So like I said, when I was looking at the map before going over prices, this section here is the largest area that there is, the most expensive area that you can actually get your hands on. It's quite significant. There's a lot of trees there, a lot of forestry that's going on. Now this field right here, this is the one that I was telling you guys about, that you need to be able to go ahead and actually purchase the land prior to actually going onto the field. I was a little caught off guard by it. I'm assuming there'll be a patch at some point fixing that issue, but until that's the case, you need to be careful when going about doing that. But actually taking a look at this chunk of land here, you have your field right there, you have this out here. This is probably the best spot if you want to do any farming without cutting down trees. This is probably your best location right here. So as I'm coming over here, you see I come to a dead stop. You can't move left, you can't move right, you can't move at all, you can't move backwards. The only way to get off of this is to turn around and then start moving the other way. Now, with that being said, let's come in here like this. I'm gonna go and... Now, I just gave myself a couple bucks so that I can go ahead and purchase this land to show you guys that once you go ahead and purchase this chunk of land, you can go ahead and go onto the field. There's not that hard stop or anything that's going on here. So if you get over in this area, don't be worried. It's not the end of the world. You just got to be able to purchase the land. If you get stuck on that, turn around and you'll be able to get out of there. Like I said, guys, at some point they're going to go ahead and put a patch in there to fix that issue. But for right now, it is what it is. And if you get stuck there, there is a way out. So keep that in mind. I wanted to come over here and take a look at the I guess the closest that you could call a city. And that's this right here. This is where you have that sell all, which is this location right here. This is where you're going to take everything under the sun and sell it. Obviously, except for like your wood chips and your logs. But this is where you're going to go ahead and sell all that stuff. So kind of keep that in mind. Nice little town center here. You do have enough room in some of these locations to potentially throw down some production locations, but it's not a ton of room. Your best bet, if you really wanted to get into production where it did not involve doing wood, you're probably going to end up having to cut various tree locations down before you can actually get to that. So that's pretty much what the reality of the situation is right there. But that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, it's a nice forestry map. There's a lot of stuff on it. Some things in here are not too shabby. I'd say, you know, if you're looking at getting into doing some logging, and logging is the only thing that you're going to end up doing, this is definitely a good map for it. But as you can see where the trees haven't rendered in, the ground's not absolutely horrible. So if you want to cut stuff down, put some trees in, you have that opportunity. You can go ahead and do that. But you have to be willing to cut the stuff down before you can actually get to that point. All in all, guys, pretty darn good map. Go ahead and download it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I think you'll probably end up liking it. If you're liking what you're hearing, liking what you're seeing, go ahead and just smash that like button. If you really want to help the channel out, go ahead and hit the subscription. It really, really does mean a lot. Turn that notification bell on and have it set to all. That way you know when this and other great videos are coming out. Go ahead and share this with somebody who likes boat rides. Boat rides and trees. I can guarantee you know at least one person likes boat rides and trees. Oh, guys, I tell you what, it's been fun. It's been great. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you think of this map. And thanks for stopping by.